All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA Show. And today is a very big day, not only because UFC 298 is coming up this weekend, which is actually an amazing, amazing card. I think it's a bit underrated, to be honest. It's phenomenal. But there's a lot of news, a lot of things going on. But the most important news for this show is that this weekend, Justin Jayne, right here, the Guitar Hero, won, and he won in
no apostrophe.
Oh,
it
good.
auto corrects that. It auto corrects it.
I got it. Justin Jayne's is fixed. Apostrophe is now after the S. All right, Justin Jayne's win. So Justin won in what's called Fierce Fighting Championship. And I want to show you guys the ending sequence, and we're going to talk about it. And this is going to be really cool because I'm going to ask all the questions like I want to know about the emotions that go through something like this in this entire journey. By the way, just to give you guys a little heads up, if I remember correctly, I think even the announcer said it. Justin hadn't, the truth of the matter is he had an injury. He was out of commission for 2 years. He hadn't had a win correct me if I'm wrong, in 3.5 years. Is that right?
That's correct.
So this is a huge win. And moreover, I want to point out that I went to Justin's fight when it was in LA in October, I believe, or November, and he looked like a completely different fighter here, which is something that I want to ask about, like how why does that happen? How does that happen? And then what does it feel like when you kind of get everything back and now you're free flowing and all that stuff. So I'm going to show you this fight. We're not going to show the entire fight, even though it was a very short fight. We're only going to show the last minute. But here we go. Let's check this out. I got it queued up over here. So here we go. We're just gonna play it, and you guys check it out. What a finish!
Over and over again. Jayne's taxing the target all over the lower body and the head of Hardman.
Can Jayne hold up? If Hardman's chin hold up, can Jayne continue this pressure and keep landing those shots? Now Hardman's connected.
As accurate and as good as he has looked over the past 3.5 years is Jayne as he closes in again and devastates the chin of Hardman once again.
I mean, it's well documented. Hardman's tough. Hardman's as hard as a coffin nail.
Hardman's left leg is bruising bad.
He's taking some bad shots.
Hardman on a wobbly foundation. Jayne's everything is hidden.
Jayne's corner wants him to charge through.
Oh my God.
He's sinking in a choke here.
There it is! Justin Jayne's first win in 3.5 years.
Okay, we're going to stop it right there. Oh, okay, so now that I think that's like the third time I've watched this. Hold on, let me stop it. Man, I actually didn't realize. So you clocked him bad, and then you were hitting him with those knees. It looked like he was ready to, he was kind of, I hate to say this because I don't know if this is true, but like it seemed like he was ready to give in or give up. And then when that choke came, it was kind of his exit ticket. Did you feel like that, or because you looked not in really bad shape?
You nailed it right on the head, man. So we knew Carson Hardman was tough, regardless of the build up, and I don't really care for the guy. He made this So it was just a fucking weird fight week, dude. Like, I'm in the middle of my weight cut. My dad tells me, "Hey, I'm having pressure on my heart. I can't breathe." He's with me in my hotel, and he's like, "I gotta go to the hospital. I gotta go to the ER. Like, something isn't right." I was like, "Fuck!" So I call my manager. This is again the night before. I call my manager. I'm like, "Hey, dude, like, I need to go take my dad to the hospital." And I'm like, "I don't give a fuck about this fight. Like, call it off." He's like, "All right, just relax.
Yeah.
I'll call the promotion." So I'll call the promotion, see what we can do. So he calls the promotion, Zach at Fierce Fighting, man. Fierce Fighting took care of me and my dad so good. I have nothing but great things to say about him. They sent somebody over with the van. They picked my dad up, took him to the hospital. Lance, my manager at Iridium, says, "Hey, look, I know you want to be with your dad, but if you go to the hospital with your dad, the fight's going to be off. You gotta still try to make weight." And I'm like, "Lance, I don't give a fuck about making weight. I don't give a fuck about this fight. Like, blah, blah, blah." And he's, "Hey, man, chill out, relax. Like, we'll take care of it." So Jordan Christensen, my boy BKFC fighter, one of my closest friends at Extreme Couture. "Hey, Justin, don't worry. I'll take care of your dad. I'll take him to the hospital so he has somebody to be with." I was like, "All right, bet." So Carson comes out with this video, and I was like, "You know what? I don't want to cut weight. I don't want to fight." Like, I was just fucking over this shit. It seems like all this shit is always happening to me. Like, fuck, just so more adversity to deal with. we get a hold of Carson. Carson posts this fucking stupid video talking about how he has issues and how he's a pro and this and that. I don't give a fuck about the money. I don't give a fuck about the fight. Family comes first. Long story short, I show up, fight goes on, and we knew Carson was going to be tough. You look at all his fights, dude, guy's durable as fuck. Again, regardless of how I feel about him as a person, he's tough. And man, I landed some big shots. Broke his left orbital, broke his nose. I think the knees in that final sequence, if you notice when I snatch up that front headlock, I knee him twice. And after that second knee hits him right in his fucking face, he just starts leaking all over the floor.
Yeah.
But to your credit, you're absolutely right. When I grabbed his head, the defense to that is to fight the hands and tuck your chin. That's not what Carson Hardman did. When I could feel him lifting his head. I could feel it. And I was like, you little bitch. Bitch. And he gave me the choke. He wanted out. Again, don't really care for the guy. Again, talked a little bit of shit online after the fight. Hey, I told him we can run it back at 55, 60, 65, 70. That was just a pure outclass ass whooping delivered by the Guitar Hero. And like I said, he wanted out of the fight. There's he thinks, oh, we're going to go to welterweight. He's the welterweight champ. I'll go up to welterweight. I'll take his belt if I want. I allow him to have that belt now because I already know how much better I am than him. Like I said, Carson Hardman is going to be out for a while, dude. He has a broken left orbital. He has a broken nose. And dude, the video doesn't give it justice. That guy was fucked up. And when you see the picture, I kind of so they told us before, they're like, hey, look, when you and Carson come to the standoff, which I didn't even go to, as soon as I stepped on the scale, I ran out. I told the commission, I kind of got a little attitude with the commission. I was like, I don't give a fuck about this fight. Like, you guys want to call the fight off, it's fine. I'm going to see my dad right now. Weigh-ins are done. So I left. Commission's like, hey, no beef with Carson. Then after, they're like, hey, because if you saw on my video leading up, Carson flicked off Babajit, and told him to go back to his country. He got a 60-day suspension for that, which I think is appropriate. So before the fight, they're like, hey, if you do any obscene hand gestures, we're going to suspend you. So after I fucking crack him, I'm looking at him, everyone's holding him up. His face is all leaking. You can see this big pile of blood. I was thinking to myself, like, what could I do right now that's not obscene? So I think of like Pokemon, Ash Ketchum. So I was like, peace sign. And I start pointing at him. And like, what are you going to suspend me for giving him a peace sign? I was like, peace, boom. It's just all leaked up. I thought it was a pretty hard photo. But fuck Carson Hardman. Justin Jayne is back. Man, I don't know what it was. Everything seemed in slow motion. I could see everything coming. He didn't land any punches. I look as good as I did, before the fight. I just felt like a different animal in there. And, I even, unfortunately, there's a point, in the video that you just showed that he throws a right hand. I flip the right hand and my ear is kind of like right on his lap. And I remember thinking in my head at that point, like, oh, I could take him down and finish him. I was like, nah, fucking, I pushed him away and I was like, let's fucking fight because, dude, man, I got in that Street Fighter mentality before the fight. I was like, I'm going to make this a fucking dog fight. I'm going to make this guy hurt. There's a couple things I'm good at. Fucking brawling is one of them. As you can see, we get in a couple of those brawls, man. I tell you what, I hit some nasty overhand rights, left hook. He told my manager that he was out on his feet after the first left hook, 30 seconds into the fight. So, hey, hats off for him being a tough guy, but wasn't that tough.
So I didn't show the first 2 minutes. Actually, when I just realized showing the last minute, the first 2 minutes, your striking was really crisp, and you were just tagging him, and it looked like there was a speed difference because he was having a really hard time to connect. Like he did connect, I think, like once in that last minute, but the first 2 minutes he was having a real hard time. Now, I have like so many questions, but my first question is, I looked at the odds prior to the fight, and it was like 90, and like Tapology was like saying 93% chance they were picking Carson over you. But yet it seemed like there was such a differential in your skill. Like you were much higher level skill. Like why was that? Do you think that's just based on your time off? And like, why do you think the odds were that way?
It's hard to come back from the adversity that I faced, especially neck surgery. And as you saw in my last fight, maybe I was a little hesitant, because it's like, fuck, is my neck going to hold up? And this guy kind of just let it all loose, man. And, I really think that's probably why they're like, hey, the guy's old. Carson's 28 years old. He's beaten. So he's, 14-4 going into the fight with 11 finishes. Like, he's a young kid with less damage. But with that being said, as I talked to Lance, my manager, it's like, bro, my last 6 fights have all been UFC quality fights. If not, 5 of the 6 are UFC vets. And then the 6th guy that you saw in California is going to be in the UFC this year. Carson
Oh,
Hardman's,
wow.
yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, there's no doubt that guy's fucking tough, man. Regardless of, do I agree with Chris leaving or not, that has nothing to talk about with Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla is tough, dude. I think he's going to be in the UFC by the end of the year. Now, Carson Hardman, on the other hand, is probably the lesser of those 6 opponents. And, I finally just got the confidence to get in there and bang it out, man. And like I said, it felt like he was in slow motion. I could see everything coming. His punches were slow. With that being said as well, he didn't want to over-engage, overcommit to his shots, from my understanding, because he thought I was going to stick to my game plan and wrestle. And unfortunately, that's something I'm just not good at right now, is sticking to the wrestling game plan. Because once I land this left hook, man, it's like a heroin shot, dude. I just want another one and another one and another one. And bop, bop, bop. Fucking sleep these bitches, man. And all in a day, baby. Hey, keep counting me out. And there's one thing that I'm not saying I'm going to win every fight in the world or I'm the baddest motherfucker, but I have a really hard time giving up. So that's all there is to it.
It's so interesting you say that. It's like whatever, like taking a drug when you land a hook, because that's why people say, I guess, you fall in love with the striking. And just from training, for me, it feels so good to even just crack the pads or like a little bit of light sparring. It's so much fun. So I have a couple thoughts. One, to me, you looked completely different from when I saw your fight in California when you fought Chris Padilla, like completely different in my opinion. I even showed it I sent the video to my friend Sarah. If you remember, she sat front row with me and she said the same thing. And she's an untrained eye, but like, that's I didn't say a word to her. I was just like, yo, check this out. She like, he looks totally different. So based on, I mean, how did you feel like a different fighter? And then a follow-up question. I mean, do you feel pretty confident now that if you fought Chris Padilla again, you'd beat him, or do you still think it'd be a good fight? Like, what do you think?
Oh, dude, man, I don't like to go out and tell, the guy beat me fair and square. I mean, well, I shouldn't say, I didn't really care for the decision, but dude, he's a tough
Yeah.
dude, man. And that's a coin flip fight. I would
Okay.
have to really adjust the game plan there and stick to the game plan. I do feel my grappling is, I mean, regardless of how the fight ended, I know some people might call me stupid for saying, I still do feel my grappling is better than his. I just unfortunately found myself in a couple bad spots, and, it's, Chris Padilla is super tough, man, and that'd be a great fight. I'd love to get back. But I'm not in any position right now. I've just won one fight. Once I get 2, 3, 4 in a row, then I'll start calling my shots. Right now, I'm scheduled March 15th against David Gardner. He's an old school vet that's been around for a really long time. I'm gonna go fight him in Michigan. That's really what's next on my bucket list. I got a call this morning. I haven't even called him back because I already know why they called. They want me to fight Tommy McMillan, 6-0. He is Sean, the prodigy of Sean O'Malley. He plays the Sean O'Malley part right now. Sean's in his corner. Tim Welch is in his corner. I've commentated this guy at Fusion. He's a featherweight, but he's missed weight 2 or 3 times in a row. So they're talking about sending him up to lightweight to fight me after I get a fight team. With that being said, I'm not a fucking gatekeeper either. You know what I mean? And I don't want these guys to treat me like, oh, you should fight Tommy and blah, blah, blah. Let's get back to the UFC. We'll see. We'll see. All I care about is fighting David Gardner right now. But to answer your question, man, everything leading up, I was excited to get in the cage. I was excited to throw leather. I was excited to kick this guy in the leg and watch him fucking crumble. Because I tell you what, those leg kicks were fucking gnarly. And I know that
Yes.
motherfucker's walking around with a limp at least for another week. And you know what? I just felt like myself again, man. And anybody that's seen me fight before in the first 10 years of my career prior to getting the UFC this is how all my fights went, man. Even if I lost, like there was just knock them down, drag them out, banger fights. And in the UFC, I think I got a little hesitant. I was trying not to lose. And in MMA, when you try not to lose, man, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And when I fought Carl Deaton, UFC vet, like fuck, I was very emotional and I was like, fuck, I can't go to the regional show and lose. And I kind of just felt at this point, it's like, hey, whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to go in there and bang on this guy. And fortunately it worked out for me this time.
And the last thing I want to ask is, what's the emotions like? Because for somebody like me who always fantasizes about having a real fight, right? But probably will never do it. Well, never say never, but most likely will not do it. What is the emotions like for you after kind of a layoff, having an injury, not sure what you were going to be like? And I know you don't remember this, but when we were talking after your last fight, you were almost like contemplating, what might be next for you. Now you come back, you have this amazing win. You look completely different. And maybe you're even I would imagine you seem better than even ever, right? Where your neck is fixed. Also, like, what's the emotions like right now? Are you on a high, or are you just thinking about the next thing?
Just thinking about the next thing, man. This is one step in front of the other. You know, it's such been an emotional road. And, you know, I just tagged you in my post-fight interview or my post-fight speech. Get a second to watch it, or you can share it on here if you want.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I wake up fucking in the dumps, fucking crying like a little bitch. Oh, my life sucks, this and that. I mean, you heard a little bit of it after the fights. That's the lows of this sport. But, you know, like my bed's right over here. As soon as I wake up, I look right to the right side of my TV, and there's a picture of my son over there. And I get really emotional about it, talking about it, because I wake up, it's like, fuck, I'm sore, I don't want to get up. But as soon as I sit up, that's the first thing I see. And it's like, look, I moved to Las Vegas, you know, for a purpose and for a reason. And I have to show him that no matter how tough things get, we can persevere through anything, bro. And dude, I went, like I said in that post-fight speech, neck surgery, hand surgery, nose surgery, 3 surgeries, 3 years, cut from the UFC, lose all my money. I mean, you understand my financial situation. Like, this is not an easy lifestyle, man. And I've went to give up so many times, and I've tried to give up so many times. You know, Chael Sonnen, a lot of coach, or not Chael Sonnen, a lot of coaches always say in the workroom, it's, you know, quitting is not an option. Quitting is not an option. And that's so not true. Chael Sonnen said it perfect. Quitting is the easiest option. Anybody can quit. We can quit this podcast right now and never do it again. And you know what I mean? Like, and you can quit your job and just never, like, that's the easiest thing to do. The hard thing to do is getting up and trying to persevere, man. And like I said, going through all that shit, one thing after another, after another, after another. I finally have my neck surgery. I fight Chris Padilla. It's like, all right, I think I'm feeling good. And then to have, you know, a bonkers situation with Chris Lieben that I've never had in 77 fights in the history. It's like, what the fuck? What? It just keep bending and bending and bending. And, you know, eventually I thought I was going to break, and I'm sure I did in my head break a couple times, but I kept waking up. I kept showing up to the gym. I kept training. I kept booking fights, and here we are. And, you know, I'll give you so this is fucking wild, man. And there's a short story. I'm going to give the short version of this story. So when I got to the UFC and beat Frank Camacho, this woman hit me up, and we went back and forth. A girl I knew since I was in a lady I knew that I was in college. She's older. She's in her 50s, maybe even 60s. And long story short, she had an issue with me, and she told me, she goes, Justin, I'm going to put a spell on you, and you're never going to, I swear to God, this is real talk. I was losing my mind yesterday. She goes, I'm going to put a spell on you, and you're never going to win a fight again for the rest of your career. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I swear to God, I lose 6. After she wrote me this message, I fucking I deleted it and blocked her, and I lost 6 fights in a row. Check this out. This is real talk, and I can show this. The night before my fight, February 9th at 7:30 p.m., I'm laying in bed watching Cell Block 99. I get a fucking text message from this woman. I haven't talked to her in years. And she's like, hey, I just want to let you know, I wish you the best, and I hope the best for you. And I kind of make a joke. I was like, oh, does that mean you took the spell off? She goes, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I was, I was on drug. She didn't say drugs, but she was on something like some kind of medicine that was distorting her head. And she's like, I'm really sorry. I just want you to know that I wish nothing but the best for you and your family. And then I fucking win this fight. Like, that's fucking wild, bro. Come on, dude.
Crazy.
Like the day before, I haven't talked to this woman in years, and she hits me up the day before my fight to take this spell off me, and I'd go out there and fucking smash this dude. Come on, man. Whether you believe or not, dude.
Did you text her or call her after you won?
Yeah, I did. And I said, thank you for taking the spell off, LOL, and then some hearts. And she never responded.
Wow.
Dude, I mean, I can't make this up, dude. I went clubbing last night. I had some friends in town. We went to some clubs, and I was showing them the text. I'm like, February 9th, look, 7:30 p.m. This bitch texted me that the spell is off the night before my fight. Like, hey, man, I'm not saying I believe in that. I'm not saying I don't believe in it, but that's fucking wild, dude.
That's so crazy, man. Jesus. So this is so wild. So for anybody who's listening, and when I talk about this sport all the time and how much it means to me and why I love it so much. One of the reasons is for the stories. It's one of the reasons why I love the MMA Hour, where Ariel interviews all these fighters. I almost wish fighters would talk more openly about all the lead up. And I know sometimes, hey, you don't want to talk about stuff because it sounds like you're making excuses or whatever nonsense. But I think it makes the sport so much richer. And I mean, look at all this stuff you had to go through and the constant mental battles. Then your dad goes. I mean, I can't even imagine. So when I am going through things that I think are quote unquote tough, which, you know, I'm going through some random things right now, but like, it just makes you be like, put everything in perspective of what is achievable and what you can do. So yeah, man, it's just so phenomenal. So happy for you. Massive win. Congratulations. Just thought we'd talk about it because I think it's interesting for everybody else, like the normal people like me, to hear the trials, tribulations, the emotions, what your mindset's like. So that's it. On to the next one. Congratulations. And yeah, guys, we're going to keep talking about Justin's next fight coming up in March 15th in Michigan. All right, cool. And so let's get into the next topic here. The one thing I want to talk about today. Now, I don't know if you've seen this, or I sent the clip, but I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. If not, I'm going to show it to you. Dana White went on the Full Send podcast. Actually, the episode is amazing. It's already got over 1 million views and it's growing. They brought Bob Menery back onto the show. And if you guys haven't watched this yet, it's incredible. The backstory is Bob Menery was what basically left the show. Everybody said he made a huge mistake. He had a falling out with the Full Send guys, with the Nelk boys. Ended up coming back on. He's going to do a few more shows, but Dana White kind of came on to mediate. And Dana White just rips into him the whole time, telling him like, that he just never delivers on things that he promises, stuff like that. But it's a really, really awesome interview in general. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, because Dana talks about how he operates, and he's like, look, my relationship with he's like, the problem with you is that when he's talking about Bob Menery, he's like, you always want to keep track of things. If I do a favor for you or you do a favor for me, you're expecting something in return. He's like, my relationship with the Nelk boys, it's not about money. It's like, we do things because we care about each other, and sometimes we make money, sometimes we don't. I'm happy for them if they like, but we're not keeping tabs. And I love that. And I think that's a really important mindset for everybody, not only just to be happy, but a lot of times, like, and then good things will come out of those positive, authentic relationships. Anyway, so watch it if you have a chance in full. But the part that I wanted to focus on today that relates to UFC 300 is this little clip. So I'm going to pull it up right now. And I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. 1 second. So it's at 103. Here, we're going to pop it up here.
You just grab it.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go share this. Boom. Whoops. All right, check it out. So 103, I time-stamped it. Okay, here we go.
Our numbers are not like you guys. It's whatever. But at the end of the day, we back to UFC 300, obviously. We've been trying to get this.
This is Bob Menery right here, by the way.
Well, that's the new thing.
That's
He'll be hitting me up one of these nights at 4:45 in the morning. He'll be hitting me up going, "Oh, you get a 10% of UFC 300." It's all I talked about on the podcast.
Wait, but honestly though, how big is UFC 300 going to be? Truthfully, it's going to be like a lot of celebrities in the little section.
He wants you to announce this so bad.
I mean, why the fuck wouldn't you?
There are so many.
Because you're using
I'll talk to
now.
you seriously about this right now. There are so many twists and turns, and crazy shit going on behind the scenes of UFC 300. It's unbelievable.
I bet.
So where will you
It's
announce
literally-
it? When
We'll announce it on UFC's Instagram and his.
I'm working on it, and everything that everybody thinks about UFC 300 right now, literally could all change tomorrow.
Why is that?
Because it's crazy the shit that's going on right now.
Is John Jones involved at all? No,
No,
can't be.
Well, bro, trying to get deals done like that.
It's
I mean,
crazy. I literally, while you guys were in here setting up for this podcast, I was literally right here in my office saying, I didn't know if you guys could hear me in there. It was crazy, but everything about UFC 300 could completely change tomorrow.
So what's the reasoning?
Okay, we're going to stop it right there. Dude, what the heck? I don't know if it riles you up like it does me or gets you excited, but Dana White, despite all the people talking smack saying it's going to be a bust and all this stuff, he's still so confident, and you can see the excitement in his voice when he talks about it. But what do you think that means? Like, I can't wait for this announcement. Oh, we lost Justin. So anyways, I don't know what this means when he says everything can change. So I wanted to speculate a little bit in terms of what potential fights are in the mix. Now, we've heard over and over that offers have been put out to Dricus as well as what's it called? Dricus versus Izzy. So the main event people are theorizing is going to be Dricus versus Izzy. But if he said everything could flip on a dime, I don't know what that means. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that clip? What do you think he's talking about that everything could flip?
Dude, I'll be honest. I think it's a business approach. I think that he's just trying to keep people on the edge of their seats. You know what?
Oh, you're up. I can't hear you. Something happened with your audio. I can't hear you. Shoot. Maybe your Bluetooth picked it up or something. All right, he's coming back on. I want to hear Justin's take. Because if he is playing games and if he's trying to basically get people excited, I guess it's working on me because I am very, very, very excited and very eager. But I do think that one of the possibilities is Hamzat might be in the mix still. But anyways, all right, let me hear your thoughts. So you think he's just trying to build?
I think he's just trying. I mean, dude, he's not fishing. It could all change. Like, I mean, these are just such vague responses, man, and anything can happen. Like, see, I told you, it just changed. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
could be true.
I don't, I'll be honest, dude. Like negotiating, high level fights is tough work. I'm behind the scenes on all these regional shows, and all these fighters negotiating money, negotiating pay, negotiating where they're at on the card. Do I get pay per view buys? I really think he's struggling right now with that because the 300 is going to be all high profile fighters, and their managers want them to make the most money, and I think that's why he's negotiating, and some fighters aren't, necessarily agreeing with the terms that he's giving. And again, this is hypothetical. I don't know if this is true or not. This is just how I'm reading it.
Yeah.
It's managers can be tough to deal with sometimes. So like, all right, hey, this is the offer we're going to give you. This is the idea that we're thinking about having. Oh, we don't want it. All right, well now we're going to fucking flip the whole thing upside down, and we get Sean Strickland in here, we get Dricus in here, we get Izzy in here. Fuck, there's three. You know what I mean? He has to make it make sense financially for the business as well. So
Yeah.
I think that, when he says that things can change, I think he's just saying that, hey, we haven't came to terms yet on from a contract standpoint to lock anything in, so I can't announce anything. I think that's what that means. And people are putting their theories out there, and some of them are probably on or close. And so people are getting these ideas in their head, and he's like, "Oh fuck, it could change tomorrow because all these theories could not be true tomorrow, and then be true the third day, or maybe I think that's what he's kind of saying."
Fair enough. Fair enough. Later in the clip, he does talk about how he's like, "There's something that I have in mind, but will it work? I don't know." So I think
Yep, that's exactly
yeah,
right.
he probably got offers out and trying to make things happen. I think Connor's off the table. I think that's been decisively determined. You mentioned something like he's like, we're hoping. Well, who knows? Actually, he could be faking us all out, and Connor could be back. I still kind of hope he is, but I'm feeling like it's improbable at this point. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to share about UFC 300. There hasn't really been any other announcements, but I thought it was a very interesting podcast, interesting interview. Now, I want to talk about something that's been in the headlines leading up to this week. And don't worry, guys. Later in the week, we're going to talk all about UFC 298, which is a amazing card, and I can't wait for the press con. Like, all of it's going to be incredible this week. I actually wish I could have gone to it because it's in Anaheim. It's in my backyard, but I got to go to my see family this weekend. But anyways, there was something that happened this weekend between your buddy Sean Strickland and Machine Gun Kelly. Did you hear about this?
I saw the video.
So anyways, it's more like it's not even really fight related, but everybody's been talking about it, and then Sean's been posting about it since. Let me just turn it over to you first. Like, what are your thoughts on this whole ordeal? He's got people riled up.
Dana White called it out. It's like, you can't bring this guy around anybody, man. We talked about it before he was the champ. We talked about why he was the champ. About you coming in and meeting him, and dude, it's authentic, bro. Like, that's how he is to people. Like I said, we talked about it. If you wore, your pink jumpsuit or that outfit, like, he's gonna tell you he doesn't. If he sees you across the room, he will go out of his way just to let you know how he feels about how you look. And that's what he did to Machine Gun Kelly. Hey man, you're a fucking weirdo, bro. Like, there's a crazy 24-hour stint there where he squared up with Donald Trump. He beat up some YouTuber named Sneeko. He fronted off Machine Gun. He fronted off Machine Gun Kelly. This was all within 24 hours of Sean Strickland's life. And there was one other thing that he did that made news. It's just, Sean's just a crazy guy. And you know what? From a PR standpoint, me and Sean have the same manager, man. And dude, I feel bad for him as much as I like Sean. But dude, his manager, my manager, has to run around and try and put out all these flames, man. And I honestly think that everybody, like Dana White, liked it at first. And this is an opinion. This isn't inside information.
Sure.
I think that at first this was fun. Like, oh man, this guy's fucking crazy. He's getting a lot of eyes. But now Sean sees how much attention and how much fame he's getting just from being himself. So now he's just trying to get crazier and crazier. And I actually think that it could be a downfall to him eventually, because Dana White's probably going to get sick of it eventually. And, unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, because I'm so happy for his stardom, but like, he's getting crazy, man. Like, how far is he going to take this? How many people is he going to have to offend before there's going to be some repercussions, And I don't, again, I'm talking from a business standpoint. This, again, reiterate, not insider information.
Sure.
But it's just like, man, how long can you tolerate? How long can Dana tolerate this if it's annoying him and it's annoying other people too? And it's Dana White said it's like you can't bring this guy around anybody.
Well, okay, so let me talk. I want to bring up the Sneeko thing too, because I did see that over the weekend, and I saw the sparring footage, and he does beat him up, but
He never goes to the body. He could
What's
have
that?
fucking hit. He could have hit him once in the body and crumbled him. I mean, Sneeko's hands are up like this the whole time. Like,
Okay, yeah.
I think Sean was just playing.
Also, this is what I heard. I think Jesse on Fire mentioned this. I believe that Jake Shields tried to tell Sneeko not to do it. He's like, dude, you don't know what you're getting into. Don't spar with Sean. But Sneeko said, I gave him something along the lines of, I said I would do it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to back down. So I think he actually did know what he was in there for, and he didn't get knocked out. I mean, he took a beating. I would have been unconscious for sure if I took that beating. So props to Sneeko. But I think he did kind of know what he was getting into, and he wanted to do it. And hey, to both of their credit, I think that clip went viral. So I'm not saying that everybody would do the same thing, but yeah, that one didn't seem as such a crazy big deal. And to the Machine Gun Kelly, like, he called him out, but it wasn't egregious what he did.
It wasn't crazy. Yeah, he just goes, "Bro, you're a weirdo." That's all it was, and everyone's going crazy about it. Machine Gun Kelly's like, "What the fuck? Who the fuck's this guy?" Probably he's banging one of the hottest girls in the whole world, bro. Like, call him a weirdo all you want. He is one of the baddest bitches you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, he doesn't care. But I mean, I am sure he's a big UFC fan. They've been to so many events. So I bet he was stoked to meet Sean Strickland. He's probably just bummed that Sean said that to him. I would imagine, but yeah, I'm sure.
It's not even surprising to me, dude. Like it's not even like, oh, Sean called you a weirdo. Wow, you're lucky that's all he called you. Like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, wow, dude, if that hurt your feelings, and I'm not saying Machine Gun Kelly said, "Oh my God, I'm offended" or anything like that. He probably doesn't give a fuck, but it's like people are blowing this out blown into a bigger deal. But that is a 24-hour crazy span there. Squaring up with Donald Trump, beating up a YouTuber, calling Machine Gun Kelly weirdo on camera. And there was one other thing he did too. I can't remember what it was, but regardless, guy's a fucking animal, man. I like Sean. I'm going to go fucking hang out with him here in a couple hours, actually.
Me too. No, tell him I think it's all great. Okay, let's move on. We wanted to talk about this last week and we didn't get to yet. And they were talking about this matchup on the MMA Hour this morning and saying what would be next for Cejudo if he wins this fight, which I want to hear your thoughts as well in terms of the prediction. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a foregone conclusion. If he does beat Merab, that's massive. I think he would immediately get slotted in for a title shot, and that'd be an amazing fight. But what do you think of this matchup? I know you've trained with Merab. Do you think Henry's got a good shot? I feel like people are probably picking Merab over Cejudo.
Man, we're talking about two elite level wrestlers. Henry Cejudo, Olympic champion. Merab, dude, with a fucking never ending gas tank, applying that pressure with his wrestling pressure. I got to give the fight to the younger, higher paced fighter here. I don't think Cejudo will be able to keep up with Merab's pace. Merab's constantly getting better. But man, that guy gets on you. He had something crazy when he fought Jose Aldo. He had like 40 takedowns or 40 takedown attempts. That is insane, man. And, I think his wrestling, Cejudo is going to be, training his wrestling to get ready for this fight. With that being said, Cejudo worries about his wrestling too much. Merab is not a slouch on the feet. He'll Khabib him, feint, 3-2, feint, overhand, uppercut, reshot. I mean, Merab's going to be in his face for, is this main event?
No, it's the wait, no, is it the third fight? I think the co-main is Whitaker.
It's gonna be a 3-round fight. That's basically what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I mean, Merab's gonna be in his face for 15 minutes. This guy's gas pedal is to the floor all the time. I honestly have no idea how he does it. When I read his stats and when I saw he tried to take Jose, it might not have been Jose Aldo, but he took this guy down. I think it was Jose Aldo. He took him down. There were 40 takedown attempts. Like, that's fucking insane, dude. That's 40 takedown attempts.
And
Like
against
what?
Piotr Jan, there was something crazy like
Oh,
that too.
was it
Hold on.
Peter Yan? Okay, Peter Yan, fucking world class fighter, dude. Like it
Let me
was like
see.
that's fucking disgusting. And coming from a wrestling background, like I like to shoot. If I was gonna wrestle, like I'll shoot 2 or 3 times in a period. This motherfucker shot 40 times in 15 minutes.
No, it's not 40. I just looked it up. Are you ready? This is
Yeah.
insane. Oh wait, is this the right? Yeah, look at the. Oh no, wrong thing. Hold on. This is so nuts, dude. Hold on. So video screen share, wrong thing. Stats. Here we go. Okay, look at this. 49. He got 11 of 49.
Like, do you have any idea like what kind of pace that is? That's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
I won't shoot 49 times in a whole week of training. Like just to
That's
think
crazy.
about this guy's output. And I just think that Cejudo has won me so much money. He won me so much money when he beat DJ. He's won me so much money when I can't think of other guys to beat, but I've never rode it against him because he's the wrestler. But he's a little older, he's a little slower, and Marab's on the up and come. This is Marab's chance to show the world how dominant of a wrestler he is, and I think he's going to do just that.
That age, Henry Cejudo is now 37. Marab's 33. Also, Marab's won his last 9 in a row. His record's insane. He was 7-4, and then he just won them all after that, or 8, whatever it is in a row he's won. And yeah, so with that age difference, 37 to 33, do you think that weighs in heavily, especially that it's lighter weight division?
Yeah, I absolutely, man. And Cejudo's fought the best in the world. Rob's fought a lot of tough guys, but Cejudo's been around a lot longer. Again, look at those days where Cejudo fought my boy Joey B. He fought DJ geez, why can't I think? Why can't
Dominic Cruz?
Demetrius Johnson.
Oh, Demetrius Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, Demetrius Johnson. Like, dude, this guy's been around. He was a champ. He just fucking knocked out TJ Dillashaw. Like, I mean, the guy's been around. He's fought the best in the world. And you got to understand, even prior to the MMA and UFC, dude, this guy was competing with the best wrestlers in the world. And to go to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado and train with everybody in that room is a fucking killer, And they're not training MMA. They're training that rough grind, taxing on your body, killing your body, fucking wrestling with sweats on, man. And that's why his mental toughness is so much. Excuse me. But the flip side of the coin is all those miles he's put on his body, on his mind, on his brain. And one thing about Cejudo is his recovery process is like no other, man. I watched a UFC Embedded about Cejudo's recovery, and I mean he knows that. I mean he's realistic. He knows his age and he knows the miles he's put on. That's why he takes his recovery so serious. But unfortunately, I don't think there's no recovery in the world that can make you 100%, especially at 37 years old. His test levels are dropping.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just chemical imbalance, man. So 33, Rob might have way higher test levels that'll help with recovery, dude. There's just so many factors that play into age that people, the casual fan, don't understand. And at 37 years old, like fucking cutting weight becomes different, becomes harder. You get fatty, your organs get this visceral fatty tissue as you age, and that just doesn't come off like in the tub, like on your belly and stuff. So I'm a Cejudo fan. The guys won me so much money. One time I was at the Palms, and I was with a girlfriend of mine, and I was like, hey man, I walk up to Cejudo. I was like, hey dude, like big fan. We've met before. I just want to let you know how much money you've won me. He's like, well, I'm glad for that. And he looks at the girl I was with. He's like, this your girl? I was like, no. And he's like, you want to go up to my hotel room? I was like, damn, this guy's a fucking gangster, dude. Like, I respected it because he asked. And she's like, no. He's like, okay. And then he just walked away. Dude, and I'm a short motherfucker. And this guy's looking at me like onto my chest. Like he's looking at me here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's funny. I should have said, yeah, this is my girl, motherfucker. Slapped him up a little. No, I'm just joking. But I'm a big Cejudo fan, man. And he was drunk, and the way he said, he's like, this your girl? I'm like, no. He's like, you want to go to my hotel room? She's like, no. And he's like, okay. And he just walks off.
What a legend. I love it. That's amazing. All right. We're clipping that. We're clipping that story for sure. That's incredible. All right. By the way, just a fun side note on his Wikipedia page, it also says he has a degree in theology. Very interesting. I did not know that. Okay. We're going to get into the main event real quick. We're going to talk about it again on Friday as well, because I want to see the press conference. I want to watch the weigh-ins. I know you don't give too much weight to the weigh-ins and how they would impact the fight, but I always like to watch the weigh-in show and see how they look. But anyways, Our last topic, man, Taporia is so interesting. He's so confident. And people are saying if he wins, he's going to blow up and be a star. A lot of people, well, he's saying it. Obviously, you can't take that for full, credibility. But like a lot of people are saying he will be the first Spanish-born and raised fighter that will be, or the first champion in the history of the UFC. He'll have that entire country behind him. He's amazing in interviews, I think. He's a really smart guy. I love his confidence, and he's so young. I think it would be really, really cool if he did win, even though I'm a big Volk fan. What are your final thoughts here at this point in the game, watching the interviews, watching the buildup? Are you still leaning towards Volk?
I can never go against my guy, man. I just can't go against him. I'm not saying dude, Taporia has everything right now. He has momentum. Volk's coming off that knockout loss in his last fight. He has confidence. He's radiating with confidence. And if I wasn't a fan of Volk, if I wasn't as strong a fan as I am of Volk, I would take Taporia from a betting standpoint. Now, if I don't know how I'm going to bet the fight because my emotions are involved. I'm emotionally invested in Volk.
Yep.
He's won me a bunch of money before. I just love his character. I love the way he talks. I love the way he walks. I love the way he fights. I love everything about the guy. So I'm very biased towards him. So I can never go against him. Now, if I don't know either of these guys and I know their skill set and I know they're coming up, I know their story, I know their backstory, man, I think the money's on Taporia right now, man. He's hot prospect coming in. He's radiating with confidence.
Yeah.
And Volk, says he's confident as well, and he's not affected by the knockout. He was drinking a bunch back then. I mean, maybe, but regardless, your brain got turned off. And when your brain gets turned off, you don't know how you're going to respond. And Taporia is such an elite level striker. I'm sure he's going to be looking for that high kick. Volk's a short guy. My heart says Volk, but my pocketbook says Taporia.
The odds right now are still minus 130 Volk. Very, very, very close odds. Plus 110 Taporia. It's almost dead even. I'm curious to see how the odds shift over the next week after the press conference, etc. I picked Taporia before. I'm going to stick with Taporia. It's also a bit of an emotional bet because I really like Taporia, and I think it'd be so cool if he won the belt at such a young age. See how long he can defend it.
How old is he?
I want to say 27, but let me double check. Taporia, he is really young. 26 or 27 is my recollection. 27. Yeah, so he just turned 27 on January 21st. Dude, he's young. He's so young.
He has a lot of green grass in front of him. We like to say, and with that being said, is his confidence, is it unwarranted confidence? Absolutely not. This guy's an elite level striker, man. And, being a young kid coming in, like 27 years old, I say young kid because I'm an old man, but this guy's hot right now, man. And I'm probably going to put my money on Volk because I think as the fight is coming, I think the line's going to start to sway in Taporia's favor. And I wouldn't doubt if we see Volk as like a plus 110 or a plus 120 underdog as the fight comes up because people are going to start getting their money in right before the fight. I can't go against my guy, man. I can't. My heart is into it. I want Volk to win so bad, man. And, I think he's just so awesome. And the reason that Volk sticks out to me is he wants to take on impossible tasks. He wants to be a 2-belt champ, being 5'6". He goes up. He fights the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world, not once but twice. Second time on short notice. This guy's a fucking dog. He loves to fight, and I can relate to that so much because I think if I was put in that situation, what would I do? And I would do the exact same motherfucking thing. I would show up and try and knock out the best fighter in the world. A lot of these fighters these days are fucking pussies and like, ooh, I need a full camp. Oh, I hurt my toe. I can't step. No, Volk shows up, no excuse. Fucking win or lose. Islam lost twice to Islam. Win or lose, though, he shows up. He fucking goes. He's striving for greatness. And man, when I watch somebody strive for greatness, like when Izzy went up to 185 and lost to the Polish dude, like everyone's criticizing him. Dude, this guy's trying to do something great, something that's never been done before. And how can you guys criticize somebody? It's the Theodore Roosevelt fucking man in the arena. All these fucking pussies out here that have never done anything in their life are criticizing guys like Volk, guys like Izzy, guys like me. We're just trying to do the greatest thing we can in our life to be remembered for whatever that reason is. And, you know, my mission is to show my son, like, never give up. Volk wants to be the #1 pound for pound best fighter in the world. He had 2 opportunities, seized both opportunities. Even the second one wasn't a great opportunity. He still saw it as, fuck, if I win this fight, like, I'm the greatest fighter in the world right now. And I can't go against my guy, Volk. I think he's going to be an underdog by the time the fight happens.
Woo, that'd be interesting. Okay, last thing I want to say, and then we'll close out the show. Great show, getting back in the mix after your win on Saturday. Did you know that Ilia Topuria is undefeated in his professional career, 14-0? Do you think that helps him or hurts him being undefeated?
Well, it just really depends, man. It's like, how much adversity, you know, there's a lot of adversity. When you're winning, it's easy to win. It's not easy to win, but when you're winning, it's momentum, dude. Like, people say momentum isn't real in sports. When you're winning, you know, whether it's football, MMA, you know, soccer, like, when you're consistently winning, your confidence, like, fuck, I'm doing things right. I'm doing things right. True adversity is losing a couple times, losing that confidence and still trying to get on the horse and keep going. So, you know, that's where I think Volk is going to have the advantage here. Is Volk has been put in bad spots. Brian Ortega had him in that nasty guillotine, bro. He had to, you know, dig deep and get out of that and then fight back. You know, fighting Max Holloway twice. Like, Max Holloway, you know, is one of the greatest strikers in the history of the featherweight division. He's beat him twice or 3 times even. Like, bro, like, you think that those are cakewalks? Those were, dude, even though he won, he got his fucking ass whooped. You know, and that's the thing with fighting. It's like even when you win, a lot of times you still get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it once, not twice, but 3 times against arguably one of the greatest strikers in the history of the featherweight, man. Like, this guy's been through all that diversity. He's fought Islam twice. He knows how to come back from adversity. Does Ilia Topuria? Has Ilia Topuria faced adversity? Has he been put in a bad spot and had to rebound when you know, his back's on the ground or his back's against the ropes? I don't think so. He's been a front runner the whole time. And again, Volk has over and over and over and over and over, and he will continue to. If he can put pressure on Topuria, can he mentally break him and put him in a bad spot? In MMA terms, we say take him into deep water. You know, take him to deep water and fucking drown him. And, you know, if anybody's going to put – that's the thing. This is the difference in the matchup. Ilia Topuria cannot put Volk in a spot that he's never been. He cannot show him adversity that he's never seen or overcome before. Volk can put him in spots that he's never seen before. And if he's able to do that, can Ilia show up?
Very interesting. All right. Well, this is probably the best summation you can get of sort of like how the fight is laid out and who could potentially win. It's dead even on the odds. I can't wait. We're going opposite directions. And this is not anything premeditated. We didn't say, hey, let's go opposite directions. This is just Justin sincerely wants or is pulling for Volk, I guess, or think, you know, believing in Volk.
I just want him to win, man. It's like my pocketbook says Topuria, my heart says Volk.
Cannot wait for this fight card. I mean, I think the main card is incredible. For at least 4 of the fights are I mean, the whole thing is amazing. I can't wait for this Saturday. Let's keep it going. Again, congratulations one more time to Justin. You're on a roll. Let's keep it going. And thank you guys so much for joining. If you did like the video, make sure to click that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're stumbling on this video, give us a shot. We're in here every week making these videos, talking about our favorite sport, mixed martial arts, in our favorite organization, the UFC. And that's it. We'd love to have you be a part of our growing audience. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.